At the wardrobe issue. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Lady Grace Page. If you don't know who I am, you can call me Lady Grace or Lady Lashley. We're here usually once a week, every Wednesday, where I have economic development seminars for you guys. Today we have something special going on. We did a little revamping, as I told you last month, what we were going to do. We were going to revamp our economic development seminar, highlighting that we have a lot of the material online, and then we have an in-person once a month on Wednesdays, the third Wednesdays of the month, where we go to put the details into a successful business plan that's going to land you a loan, okay? So if you don't know about that, please go to that playlist, check that playlist out, and then sign up for the last 2-hour seminar where I tell you how to make a successful business plan that can get you financed. But today we're not here to talk about that, guys. We're here to talk about what's going on in the foreclosure market, okay? If you're new to investing in foreclosures, today you're going to learn a lot from Lady Lashley, or you can call me Miss Grace. I'm going to break down the key things that you need to get ready to invest in the foreclosure market. Now, it's more than just getting ready, but I want you guys to have focal points on what it means at this point of investment versus here. We're going to go into the pre-foreclosure. We're going to go into the auction phase and the real estate owned. We're also going to highlight key things that you need to pay attention to when you're researching, locating the information you need, funding your particular property, developing bidding strategies. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's get to it. Let's get to it, okay? Thank you for being here today. I'm going to follow my paper as you guys can look behind me, or you can just listen. Please get your pen and papers together, guys. Just to give you a heads up, we're going to be here for about an hour and a half. You're going to learn a lot. If you can't see what's on the board, I'm going to read everything to you. So the first few things we're going to talk about is why consider investing in foreclosure homes. We're going to move into understanding the foreclosure process. Knowledge is power. This consists of understanding the stages of foreclosure process. Then we're going to get into the pre-investment process step by step today, which is going to highlight research, finding the property, finding opportunities, valuing the property, finance preparation. We're going to then move on into developing a bidding strategy. Get your pen and paper, guys. Developing a bidding strategy. Don't get caught up in moving in your emotions. This is one of the things that I talk about all the time when you're investing in any real estate. Go in with a level mind, know what you want, know how much your budget is, and stay focused, okay? Then we're going to get into the post-auction considerations. And last but not least, you don't know, I feel like I'm the nurse of real estate. I want to prevent issues. We're going to get into key risks, challenges, and common pitfalls. All right, thank you guys for showing up today. If you are in the Atlanta area, we do this once a month, and you can sign up on Eventbrite. So why consider? Why consider? We already know the market is just messed up. But the primary draw of foreclosure homes is the potential for discounted properties. Distressed properties are often sold by motivational sellers, not only distressed physically, but maybe distressed financially. So keep that in mind. Either the homeowner, the bank, or the court. So I stopped there because this is going to highlight key points. If I freeze, I'm like the instructor. Whatever I freeze and emphasize, that's the most important. That's like what's going to be on the test. So there's 3 different ways you're going to be able to enter the foreclosure investment market, and I'm going to show you. From a homeowner, from a bank, or through courts, okay? So the next thing we want to consider is instant equity. Buying below market value means that you can have instant equity, and you already guys know that the market is inflated. So I do promote alternative real estate investment. If you're comfortable with foreclosures, deeds, tax liens, whatever it is, choose your market, because right now it's hard for a lot of us to get in, especially our younger generation. Highlighting high ROI potentials. What does that mean? A lower acquisition cost can lead to a higher return when you eventually sell the property, or you keep it or you hold. Right? We really don't have to sell foreclosure properties to you, but I just want some people to understand, because a lot of us, especially 80s babies, 70s babies, we're so, and 60s, just going in the regular conventional way through a regular loan and getting caught up in what's going on now. where the home is highly valued and our market is all over the place, the interest rates is everything, I don't need to sell it to you. Also, just remember, because there's not a lot of people like me and you, it's less competition, okay? While popular, certain foreclosure stages, like the auction phase, is not always, fun, and not a lot of people do it. It deter more people to enter because you need a little bit more experience, okay? And potentially reduce competition, okay? Understanding the foreclosure process. Oh, it's a little bit small. Let me see, can I zoom? Hold on a second, guys. Okay, understanding the foreclosure process. Knowledge is power, and that's what I want to share with you guys. Before you even think about bidding, it is critical to understand foreclosure process in a specified state because it can be different. So again, this information I share with you is the foundational information you need to apply it to different states to be able to do your research. So remember, it varies by state. So because I'm in Georgia don't mean that I know what happens in all foreclosure states that deal with foreclosures or have them, or even counties. It could be different. That's why we want you to do your due diligence and know where to do your research at. So this varies significantly across the country, across counties. So knowing the different stages from pre-foreclosure to auctions and the real estate owned is very important, and that's why I'm highlighting this for you. This is for everybody. So the pre-foreclosure stage, this is when the homeowner has defaulted on the mortgage payment, but hasn't yet lost the property. So this is a phase where people like me and you can enter in, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. You could potentially work with the owner to negotiate the direct price that's owed, potentially avoiding a bidder's war. The auction phase, this is another phase. Properties are sold to the highest bidder in the auction phase. There's more competition. You guys, if you know me, I'm not big on all that. 1,000, 2, 1,000. It's good if you definitely make sure that you have a good pocketbook. You have a good strategy, and then you have at least 5 properties, and then to keep your emotions out. But I like the easy way. I do over the counter, guys. But the ones that's out there, just know that foreclosure auctions are available. So you need to keep the bidding strategies in mind, often having the cash to require to close that deal within 24 hours. And you also have limited inspection. With the first stage, where the owner still owns it, you still have a potential to see the particular property. Okay? Now, this is where the due diligence come in on this particular part. More due diligence in stage 2, because you need to know as much about the property as possible, because you won't be able to walk in the property or be on the property. You could get area views. I teach you guys how to research the property on our title course that we offer. But with that being said, a little bit more due diligence. The next phase where you can enter the foreclosure process, that is, this is the real estate is owned. You need some help?
What type of class you teaching?
It's a foreclosure class, and we're live, so you have to come in, or because you're interrupted and live. It's a foreclosure. You could go to the depths and sign up.
Okay.
Okay, so I do apologize, guys. Y'all got to know that I'm down in Atlanta. I'm down live in a full gamut, bro. So there's one of the people stopping by. Wait, just if that ever happened, guys, go around. All right. So with that goes to say moving forward. So real estate owned. These are the properties that failed to sell at the auction, and guess who owns them? Dun, 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 dun. The bank. The bank. Yes, I just gotta be honest. The bank owns it at this point, and now the lender, the bank, the mortgage company wants to sell this property. They're not. The lender is not in the business of owning properties at this point. So this is when you can start to negotiate with them. Okay. So I did introduce 3 different phases. I hope you guys are taking your notes, because you have to figure out which one will work for you. Which one are you more comfortable with? So just getting in more into the pre-foreclosure phase so you guys can understand it. Pre-foreclosure, what is it? Again, it's the period after the homeowner has defaulted on their mortgage payments, but before the bank officially repossessed the property or the foreclosure sale is scheduled. You don't want nothing scheduled this is the person that may have put an ad out, or you actually saw a notice of default. Okay, so the notice of default is usually located in public record. The bank usually do that, so you can look for announcements and start to see, hey, you're defaulted, because that's part of putting people on notice. Not only just send them certified mail, things like that. This is part of the forever notice. If you understand how to do a foreclosure process, we teach that to tax lien investors. This is one of the things, if you want to put a forever notice in, you put it in the ad, you run it based on the state law, and then if someone ever come back for that property, the forever notice was there. Does that make sense? There are time stipulations depending on what state, but that's what he's talking about. So that forever notice is there for me and you to look. Because they're like, hey, homeowner, you owe some money and we're about to come and get it. Now me and you looking like, oh, okay, can we contact this homeowner? And when we contact the homeowner, what we're saying to them is, hey, we see that you're in a particular situation. Can we work with you? Maybe, you can do a contract with them that'll allow you to pay just a little bit extra where they can leave with some money and you can close off the deal. So I just want you guys to kind of get an idea how you negotiate at that particular time when things are happening. So this is an investment opportunity. This is often the best stage for investors. You can directly negotiate with the homeowner. Who might be desperate to sell or to avoid the foreclosure process. Hold on, guys. All right. Hold on, PowerPoint. Kind of went frozen, but I'm ready. Let's move forward. So the pros to this particular process, or coming in this way of investment, is the ability to inspect the house. So you'll be able to talk to the person, inspect the house. You'll be able to you'll have a clear title. It can be obtained through a standard purchase. So instead of anything being put on the title by the bank or anything, this foreclosure, you can just get a clear title. All right. Potentially is a win-win situation where the homeowner avoids foreclosure and you get the deal. Okay. So the cons in this particular situation, I'm gonna stand up, guys. I gotta stretch my things. The cons in this particular situation is homeowners might still find a way to save their home. Loan modification or bankruptcy, and this is where we teach you in the course to look for this particular information when you're doing your due diligence, because you don't want to get involved in purchasing a property and it's already under bankruptcy, which is public information, or some type of loan modification is going on. That you have to do a little bit more research for that. All right, so next, moving forward, foreclosure auction, trustee sale or sheriff sale. This is another thing another method that you can use to enter the foreclosure. What is it? If the homeowner cannot resolve their default judgment during the pre-foreclosure stage that we were talking about, the property is put up for property auction, typically held at the courthouse. This is where we at the courthouse and we're starting to bid. How to find them? Public notice in local newspaper, county sheriff office website, and online auctions. So I'm giving you exactly where to look for the second phase of you enter. If you want to go to the auctions, where are you going to go? Public record, and that's going to be located in a newspaper. Again, just like the public notice, that's going to tell you it's going to be a sale coming out. A sheriff county sale is a website that has it. Usually they have bid for assets that has foreclosures on it as well. I think we have some suggestions. I could probably get to some of that before the end of this, but if not, we have that information on our members page. Also, foreclosure auctions, the pros to this is, potentially a steep discount. You already know. Quick closing, they want the money, cash on payment, usually within 24 hours, and you will own the property within days, period. Point blank, no issues. It already went through everything it went through. The transfer is gonna go through smooth. You don't need to clear the title at this particular point. You shouldn't have to. It does depend on the state, but to be honest, usually at that point, I do think it's important for you guys to look to see if there's any IRS liens or anything, because the most important liens, no matter what type of investment it is an IRS lien. And you have to clear that if it's attached to the home before it can be transferred. So you always look into IRS liens, all right? Now, the cons, buyer beware with foreclosures. Properties are sold as is with no opportunity to inspect. Like phase one, where the homeowner, you got the notice from the newspaper, you want to talk to the homeowner, you probably got to look at it, you can't. This phase right here, if you want to go to the auctions and invest and you're going that way, you cannot look at the property physically. You can drive by, but you cannot go in the property, and you don't want to trespass, but you do your due diligence. You cross-reference the property size, value, real views of it, Google views. You get the GIS map views to make sure. You try to look at the title history to see if anything happened over the year. The transfers are good. You just want to do a detailed research on this property if you're going through the auction process, okay? So the cons is, again, not only that is a buyer beware, property is sold as is, you can't see outstanding liens, what I've just told you about could be on it. The most important one is the IRS. That's what you can inherit. And also, HOAs is some of the worst liens to fight. It's ridiculous. I don't even know how they have so much precedent these days, but HOA, they can cause you H. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So if you see a home is connected to an HOA, I defer you not to deal with it. I'm gonna be honest, but there are laws that's coming up against HOAs and their predatory contracts. So we'll just keep that in mind. But you can't have liens on foreclosures. This is why I teach you guys to do your due diligence. It's very important. Next, cash required. Most auctions require full cash payment or certify the funds within a very short time. So you want to have the funds on hand from your bank to let your bank know, I'm going to be making a big purchase. This is what I'm doing. And when you get into this process, your bank going to know what's your investments, and it gets a little bit more easier for you to go around the red tape. So redemption rights. Did you know foreclosures have redemption rights? Did you know that? Did you know that the foreclosure homeowner has redemption rights? It depends on the state, okay? So redemption rights. In some states, the original homeowner has the right to redeem after the sale, meaning that they can buy the property back within a specified amount of time. Sometimes it's 6 months to 12 months. Keep that in mind. By paying the winning bid plus associated costs, you'll get everything back. But at the end of the day, this is what you want to know about that. And keep it in mind as an investor, sometimes you can't get title insurance till after this period, because the title insurance know that someone can come back and claim the property, and that's something that they don't want. That's something I learned in real time. And just understand, title insurance doesn't mean that your property's not insured, it's not good, it's not insured. It just means that you can't take a loan, a conventional loan, because usually conventional loans want some type of title insurance to assure the title, because that's part of it. So if you wanted to put a loan on that particular land, you'll have to wait. Does that make sense? Devotion a lot to you guys. I hope you guys are learning a lot. So that's some of the cons. Also, because it's in the foreclosure process, you may have a disgruntled. You know what a disgruntled is, guys? Occupying issues. Original homeowner or tenants could be still in the particular property and may still live there, requiring you to have to go through a conventional foreclosure process. Okay? And that's what I talk to people about, because it can be strenuous. Certain cities move different. They give certain class of people more time. Certain things are happening because the economy, things are on hold, holidays. Keep that in mind before you move forward. And you'll pretty much know if someone lives in the property. You're going to see some cars there. You could go drive by, keep your eye on it, but don't go in. Now, the next phase where you can enter investing in foreclosures. This is the third phase. This is real estate owned. It didn't sell at the auction. Nobody bought it. So now the bank owns it. So how can we buy it from the bank? So just formally, if the property doesn't sell at the foreclosure auction, the lender repossesses it, and it becomes REO, real estate owned by the bank. The bank then sells it in the open market, pretty much getting double or triple what they was owed. The person probably was down to $50,000 and was late on the payment. And because nobody caught him at phase one. Now the bank is about to resell his property for $300,000. Does that? This is why we teach you this. I don't want to knock the bankers out, but we still have to understand how we lose as people. All right? So, how to find these particular properties? List with the real estate agent, just like regular. Okay, it's bank-owned property at this point. You can go to banking website. Majority are on Zillow, realtor.com, and you'll know if they're bank-owned properties. It's basically just like buying a property that someone owned already. But like I said, it's market value. It's foreclosed point. But it is an investment opportunity. Banks are motivated to sell the properties that they own so they can recoup some of the losses. So you may be able to negotiate. Okay, but they be trying to say, no, fair market value. They don't even want you to know this. They don't want you to know that that person was almost paid down to $50,000 on their loan, and now they about to sell this for $300,000. But you be like, hey, the original amount was this. Can we negotiate to $200,000? And they probably like, oh, hey, closed mouth don't get fed. All you can do is ask. So some of the pros of investing in this third level of foreclosure investment, level 3, is standard purchase price. That's the pros. You can typically inspect it though. That's the good thing. Conduct an appraisal. That's what's part of this process now. You're basically buying it the conventional way. And get title insurance. There's no hold to it like phase 1 and phase 2, because now it went through all of that and legally it can be sold without nobody coming back to redeem. So you'll have a clear title. Bank usually clear the title, so you don't have to do all of the due diligence that I told you guys. Do your title search, go look at the deeds of the house, the consecutiveness. I didn't say all that just now, but that's how you do your due diligence. Go look for IRS liens, these type of things. This is what I teach you how to do. All right, teach you way more than a conventional realtor knows. I'm just going to be honest. That's why I shout out to my realtors, the ones who have joined the program and learned a lot, because you know it's good to have a back door. Another thing that makes this a pro is the financing options. You can often secure traditional mortgage connect to this. So basically, like I said, it's just a regular way of investing in real estate. Cons. The cons of doing this is basically you pay fair market value, baby. That's what you did. So it's less of a discount. This foreclosure way where the bank already owned it is not going to be on discount like at the auction, or you already talked to the people, the owners, before it got to this point. So it's a lesser discount. The price is generally higher than the auction, as the bank wants to minimize its loss. It is as is, so while you can inspect, the bank generally say as is, I'm not fixing nothing. They don't want to do none of that. So just know that you're not going to have a lot of negotiating when it comes to fixing stuff like you would do in a conventional home mortgage loan process. Does that make sense? We're bridging the knowledge so you guys can choose which method would be more easier for you when you're investing in foreclosure. So it's as is, you can expect, but they're not fixing. You'll just know what you have to fix. It's kind of a slow process. Banks can be slow to respond to offer negotiation, so you got to be on them, be consistent. 3 to 4 days, you want to, touch grounds with them if you don't hear anything. Make sure you stay professional, friendly. And conditions. Property may have been vacant for some time and could be in poor condition. Sometimes they hold these for a while. They're sitting there. So that's the kind of like the same risk you have when you're investing in alternative real estate. So that's something we know as real estate investors coming in this market, that it may be some damage. That's why we got drones. That's why we got GIS maps. That's why we got Google Maps. And that's the best way to look at the conditions of the property beforehand, before you actually invest. Does that make sense? All right, so let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Thank you guys for stopping by. As you come in, please hit the like button. We're here once a month where we do this live in Fulton County. We educate you how to invest in foreclosures. I'm giving you all of the information. So next, the investment process, step by step. Let's get there. Research, research, research. I'm the research queen, guys. Okay, so find your foreclosure investment, and property valuation is very important. Financial preparation is the key. We have done that already. We know how much we're going to spend. We're not going above that. We got self-control when we're bidding. We're not gonna do too much, and we have an idea exactly what we're gonna bid on. And finding great opportunities. So these are step by step. Research, research, research. Do your due diligence. Understanding the market. It's not just getting the property you want. I see a property I want. I like it. This is what it is. Research local real estate trends, the average sale prices in the area, rental rates to see what you can do with the property after you acquire it, and the neighborhood. The thing that's going on in the neighborhood. Is it crime? Is it something good coming? Is it building up? Wherever it is, this is all part of your return on investment calculations. Land, legal landscape. Familiarize yourself. This is doing your due diligence, guys. Familiarize yourself with the state foreclosure laws. Redemption period. Lien property information. What liens can be on it, what you have to do to satisfy it, who you need to write a letter to, whatever's going on related to the lien. Consider consulting a real estate attorney if you need to in this particular point. If, like I said, we know how to do our due diligence. I know how to teach you how to do a title search to get you everything a title company can get you, so you can be mindful. But certifications, things like that, you may want to go through legal means to make sure that you get your things done in a manner that the normal process, the people who look at the normal process would accept it. Does that make sense? You do your title search, but again, you need a clear title certificate to actually get a loan. So that's sometimes if I bought my property this year, I probably have to wait 2 years to get past that redemption time because I invested through foreclosures. Does that make sense? Now, the next thing is building a team, okay? Connect with knowledgeable real estate agents, people who know about foreclosure, reputable title companies, people who you can ask, go to lawyer.com. Yes, yes, yes. Build a portfolio around you so if you have questions, you'll be able to ask and make mindful decisions before you move forward. This is all part of your research process. It's all a part of your MO you need to be successful. Now, you also want a reputable title company, trusted contractor, someone who you know may need to could fix roofers for you or whatever you need, and a real estate attorney, just in case, especially in the state that you're investing in, okay? Shout out to a Maryland real estate attorney, John. He's an amazing guy. All right, so real estate, doing your due diligence, again, into the location. That's just like any real estate investment. Location is critical. Consider factors like the school districts, crime rate, property taxes, and future development, because your property taxes you will still have to pay no matter if you bought it at a foreclosure and you paid it all off. You're gonna have to pay those taxes. If you live in a place like Illinois, out in that area, Jersey, taxes $15,000. Honestly, you know, it's just big guy stuff out there, and you guys want to be ready to pay that every year so you don't find yourself in default. Okay, local regulations. Research zoning regulations depending on what you want to do with the property. Building codes, if you're going to be building up, what could you build, 2-story, 1-story, how much it's going to cost. Ordinance that will circumvent the process that you're taking that might affect your investments. This is what you want to look for now, because you want an entry plan and an exit plan before you even put your money down. All right, so finding foreclosure opportunities. Online websites, we're going to get your pen and paper, listen to these are online websites that you can look to find foreclosure opportunities. This is the Realty Tac, go there.com. Zillow, you can go on Zillow for foreclosures. These are places you can look for foreclosures. Auction.com as well. Bid for assets as well. And I think there's one more I did a video on. I'll put that at the bottom for you guys. You can also look, depending on what level you're coming in as I've told you, public record. They have to put these people on notice and say, hey, you owe $15,000. We're about to sell this. Now, people like me and you who are hunting for real estate property, we like, oh, let's call this homeowner. Maybe we could give them $17,000, have 20,000, because they owe 15. Have 20,000 to the side, ready to pay that off, negotiate a lawyer contract, flip that over to you. Nobody lost the property. You entered the foreclosure process phase 1. Does that make sense? So understand the regulations, the ordinance for that. Finding foreclosure opportunities again through public record. That will be phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3, because phase 2 is going to the auction. The auction is located on a newspaper, website, or whatever they listed local auctions for foreclosure, the sheriff said. Phase 3 is when the bank already own it and they have it on foreclosure.com. You know, they have it on Zillow, but it's not the homeowner. There's no negotiation going on there. It's just you looking at that property. You probably get a clear title and everything, but you can't negotiate. It depends. Banks is not really fixing up houses, so I'm not even going to say it depends. It's no negotiation, okay? Local real estate agents as well have this information, so that's what I said. Your portfolio is important. Make friends. Understand that everyone is important. Just because you're a real estate expert in deeds or foreclosures or whatever, you want to have a good index around you. And that consists of real estate agents, experienced agents that often have access to distressed property, and also the MLS. Also, they can go right in there before things hit, kind of give you an idea. And direct marketing. For pre-foreclosure, consider sending letters to the homeowner. Have one ready. Like, hey, ma'am, yo, 15,000. Process gonna take 17 to clear. I got a lawyer, I'll pay for everything. You got 20,000 to rip. I could give you an extra 1,500 for moving out expenses and everything, and then you spend $19,500 on a property that's gonna be priced and eventually resold for market value close to 250,000 to 300,000, depending on how inflated it is. Does that make sense? This is how we're teaching you how to get real estate back in your hands at a discount rate. Now, the next important thing that I want you guys to understand in doing your due diligence is property valuation. You want to value it right, because you want to know what you're going to spend so you can get a higher return on your investment. So if you don't know, you can look at our title. I do apologize. We have a sales seminar that's available. It's pretty much free. I think we have that on YouTube free. You go to that playlist, and it teaches you about comparables, how to compare properties in the market, determine the after repair value by comparing the properties to recently sold similar homes in the area that are in good conditions, the same bedrooms within 6 miles, conditions, and then you can value the potential of your property. Estimate the repair costs, get detailed estimates from contractors of repair costs, the necessary reevaluation, like, hey, could you give me an estimate of how much it'll cost for this? So you can kind of get an idea, okay, I got $50,000, so I spent $19,500 to get the homeowner and get the possession. Now I got $30,000 pretty much to renovate or do whatever I need to do for this particular property. Does that make sense? That's part of your original budget. We're coming in thinking about everything. I want you guys to be safe. All right, so we talked about comparables, estimating repair costs, title search information is critical for auctions especially. So primary title search is vital to uncover any hidden liens or encumbrance that would deter the transfer process. Okay, you probably pay the money, but then you got to pay these liens. They like, hey, you got to pay it. It is as is. If you want to get this transferred to you, you got to pay the IRS. They don't care. They got their money. You're supposed to look at that at the beginning. That's what I told you guys. Go look at that. Go check on that before you give your money, because you're going to be paid a little bit more, and that's not what we want. Okay, so it's critical to do a title search. For auctions especially, primary title search is valid. Uncover any hidden liens, encumbrance that will cause issues to transfer. This is often difficult to spot at the auction because you got to do deep research, but it can be catastrophic for you. So pre-foreclosure real estate research is very important. The next thing, property inspection. Do the best that you can. Know how to use the GIS maps. If you guys don't know how to, I have a whole series on GIS maps. It is, I'm going to say abstract, because every county have their own GIS map that they use. Not every county, but state, area, things like that. But as long as you know the key element of how to use a GIS map, you know about coordinates that you put in if you have to. If you can't put an address in, this is what I teach you. And those same coordinates that you put in the GIS map is literally located on a deed in the description. That's why we teach you how to read the deed. You can learn everything about it. We're teaching you how to be the people who put the cornerstone down. You know how they know how to read stuff. That's what we teach you, okay? And that's how you verify the title as well in the description. So giving you a lot today. All right, so let's move forward. These are some of the things that is very important before you invest. The property inspection, again, GIS map, Google Live. I don't know about flying drones right now as realtors, because they do that. They use drones to take pictures overhead. Just be leery of that. But you know what I'm saying. Get the best view as possible. Get a realtor to go around here and look at the property. Does that make sense? So research, do your due diligence. How much more can I push it? I need you guys to be safe. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace, or you can call me Lashley. I'm the nurse of real estate. I'm the one that's going to get you guys in the real estate, prevent you guys from having a heart attack, because everything here got our blood pressure high, and we're going to be successful. Okay? Let's go. Now, so the title research is very important. The property inspection is very important, and comparable sales. Financial preparation. Okay. That's why I hope you didn't think just that $20,000 was everything that you were supposed to have. No, and you spent it all at the auction. That's not how it works. You haven't been listening. No. $50,000 for foreclosure. If you can get it something for $15,000, being nice at the auction, then you $5,000 to maybe secure the property. Now you had $20,000. You got $30,000 to play with to fix up the property, to do what you need to do. But that was all calculated before we got to the auction. Remember that? Okay, let's move forward. So, financial preparation. Securing finances. Now, for auctions, cash is almost always, or a certified check, not certified, you know what I'm talking about. They want a cashier's check. For pre-foreclosures and real estate that's owned, get pre-approved from the mortgage or whatever company tell you how to do it. Sometimes they let you do wire. It's not as strenuous as going to the auction. Like 24 hours. When you dealing with the banks and things, they be like, okay, we wire it. It's a whole long process. But at the end of the day, you get the title. You understand the benefit of doing it that way. Does that make sense? Budget beyond your purchase price. Okay? Factors in the closing costs. Factor in potential repairs. Overdue taxes. It shouldn't be, but is at this point it can be for the foreclosure process. It can be. So you want to keep that in mind. I'm thinking if you do tax lien investment, it shouldn't be too much overdue taxes. But we do keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind that it will be some taxes associated. If it's any homeowners fee, association fee, I just say run for the border, okay? Potential eviction costs if you do have someone who lives in a property, that's something you want to calculate. Handling costs like your utilities, insurance, because you want to, depends on where it's at, you may need to get the water running right away and the heater on because you don't want pipes to freeze. Insurance is a must, but if you have already property insurance, you can use that. That can be a rider on your property insurance. So, you work your way around the game, depending. And always budget more than you think you need for repairs. You never know, because they get in, then it'd be a little bit more deeper. And that's why you want to do your due diligence, period. I wish they had like a Kelly Blue Book for houses, but they do have certain websites that you can find out if the house was condemned, this, that, and the third. And we teach you how to do that. So funding your foreclosure investment. Just know that cash is king. Cash is king. If you have funds available, cash is the most straightforward option, but you want to have a tracker where you just give nobody no money. And especially, y'all know when we do deed sales, never buy a quick claim deed for cash. Please, guys, warning. Hard money loans can be good for you guys to use if you meet the requirement. These short-term loans can significantly diversify your portfolio, helping you to have more design and more, how can I say, diverse portfolio, because you'll be able to pull that money in and out and pay some things off as you sell and buy, and it just lets you be creative. It's like a canvas board, smorgasbord of money. Does that make sense? Okay, so hard money loans is good. However, they typically come with a higher interest because they are not secured by anything. It's just your promise and your business. Private lenders can be good if you're a business owner and you want to expand and you're into foreclosures, you're into alternative investments like me, and like, hey, I could get some private lenders here. I could have community right here that I want to establish. I can buy this 2 acres of land and create, small homes for the community. I can get some shareholders in the community, maybe some government sponsors grants because this is something they need. I'm very diverse. Okay, just think outside the box with your ideas as well, but you want to come to the table with something, okay? So private lenders, government officials, partners, consider partners with other investors, kind of like we talked about. Now, let's get into this. We're going to hit everything. We like an hour in. We still got a little bit of time, guys. Thank you for joining us, popping in and popping out. Hope you can understand everything that I'm sharing with you guys that is beneficial for you guys. And it's action-packed. Action-packed means full of knowledge that you can use today. Okay? So developing bidding strategies. If you're going to the auction, you need to know how to bid. Even if not, if you're going to talk to the bank, you may want to know how to negotiate. Okay? So build that bidding stamina up, guys. I gotta tell you, my bidding stamina like this. You want to be like this. We gonna negotiate. I'm done. Not too much, but it's always good because it makes you more competitive. So develop a business strategy. Don't get caught up in the heart of the moment. Auctions can be a high pressure environment. Develop a clear bidding strategy and stick to it. If you don't have one, look at our website, primetimehomebuyers.com, or you go to buybackteam.com, and you'll be able to get a free download of bidding strategies there if you go to the frequent asked questions. Go to our website, it's free, okay? Get you started. So, first thing, auctions can be high pressure. 1, set a maximum bid. It's a roof. That's it. Based on your research, financial analysis, not what's in your pocket. I never said base what's in your pocket, base what you could afford first. Set it based on these criteria, which is research, financial analyzation on the property. Determine the maximum amount that you're willing to pay because you know how much the comps are selling for. You know what you want to do with the property. This, that, and the third, okay? Don't get caught up in the bidding wars and exceed your budget. Attend the auction regularly. Don't just go to the first auction and get in. Take your time, take your time, take your time. Scope it out. I'm the same way. If I have to go to court, I want to go scope out the judge to figure out how I'm going to maneuver this. Auctions, that's the first thing I did. Before I went into an auction, I would visit a few, one in Macon, and they had 2 different auctions going on. So I got to see the difference and figure out what was going on. They started this one at $10,000, this one was at this amount. And I'm like, okay, why? And this one was already cleared. And so you learn a lot. Then they always have different ways that the auction works. Sometimes they be like, you have to do increments of $50. Sometimes they do. Or you have to, just put your paddle up and they go increments of 20. Or you can, whatever money you want to put up, $750. If somebody say $925, you just want to know the flow, watch it. So when you come, you'll be acquainted with it and not be so nervous. Does that make sense? Preparation is the key. Preparations is strategization. I made that up. I like that. All right, moving forward. Let's go. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace, or you can call me Lady Lashley, whatever works for you, but I'm here to teach you because that's what I love to do. Now, moving forward, attend regularly. Get to know. Talk to people. Do whatever you need to do. Be prepared to walk away. If the bidding goes beyond your maximum, stop. Be prepared to walk away. Overpaying is a receipt for financial disaster. From there, your heart is already going. You're going to invest. Now, I got to do whatever I got to do to make this successful. You're just going to keep on going. Depends if you I'm like, I done messed up. I got to get something back. I'm about to sell this real quick. But if you don't, you're like, I need to do this. I need to do that. You go in a rabbit hole, you don't. So just don't do it. Making an offer. So these are the ways you make an offer from the 3 investment levels. Y'all remember, the first one is talking to the homeowner. Second one is at the auction. The third one is the bank. Let's get it. This is how you apply it. Now, pre-foreclosure, negotiating with the homeowner directly, presenting an offer that will solve their problem, covering their mortgage, providing moving expenses while still being a good deal for you. Does that make sense? Give them a little, they were about to lose their property. So this is how we're not sharks totally. We're not sharks. We're helping people because the bank was about to take it and sell it for double what they owe. So the next way for to comprehend the bidding approach. For the auction, what we just talked about, emphasize no emotions, have your budget, stay focused, know what property you want, stick to your plan. But attend preview sessions if available, and it is. Set maximum bid for your potential investment, minus the maximum bid. Y'all thought it was just how much you wanted to spend. Remember, no, it's minus the possible repairs, the holding costs for it if you got to hold it, and your desired profit margin. That's why we do that deep dive research, because we like, dang, okay. The fair market value for this house is $250,000. Right now, we're in a bidding war, and we got up to $80,000. We're almost at $100,000, which right now we're like $160,000, close to the fair market value. Now we're looking at furnace repairs. Now we're looking at roof repairs. Now we're seeing that it's infrastructure issues, which is going to probably phase out a lot more of that $150,000. Does that make sense? Now we're looking like only a profit margin of $25,000. How does we make that work? This is what we decided. That's why we stopped at a bidding ceiling, because we knew we wasn't about to lose. Okay, so the next part is, the next way to invest in thinking about bidding is talking to the bank. Submit an offer through the real estate agent or the bank. Be prepared for counter offers or potential slow response. They never said be prepared for you to negotiate and say, hey, this is wrong with the property, you can fix it. I just gotta give y'all a heads up. But you just wanna be on them. It can be slow. Now, let's get to closing the deal. We're doing really good, guys. We got like 7 more PowerPoints to go. That's amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed everything we shared with you. I think we're gonna be able to break this down in an hour and 15 minutes. And I want to say thank you for popping in with Lady Grace. You can call me Lady Grace or Miss Lashley, whatever works. This is what I love to do. I love to make sure that people are knowledgeable about the health of their financial decisions. Okay, the health of their financial. Does that make sense? They like the health. Yeah, because some people invest and they put themselves in a bad situation because they were sick from the beginning. They ain't even know anything about it. They just did everything. You sick already because you're just doing anything. You're jumping in the market and just. Does that make sense? No, we're not going to just eat anything. We're not going to just do anything here. Okay? Now, closing the deal. Pre-foreclosure and the pre-foreclosure and the REO. What is that? The real estate already owned. This follows the standard real estate closing process with inspection, appraisal, and title insurance. It can happen. Pre-foreclosure is with the homeowner. Nothing went through mitigation. They don't have any issues in the court. You'll be able to get title insurance. They saved their property from going through all of that because you gave them $20,000 and it was $15,000 that they owe, and you negotiated and had your lawyer make sure that that money going to them and that property was being transferred over to you. And now you see what I'm learning. You got to inspect and everything, just like with the foreclosure process. When you're dealing, with the REO, I do apologize. The foreclosure process, that's when the bank owned it. Kind of like the same thing. In both areas, you won't be able to ask them to fix the home, but you'll be able to inspect it, appraise it, and get title insurance, okay? So which phase do you like? Phase 1, 2, or 3? I like phase 1. It's kind of uncomfortable, but it's more personal. Phase 2 is good for the competitive, and you can get a lot back. Phase 3 is like, But it's good if you want to kind of dib and dab and feel a little bit more secure dealing with a bank. And you may not have to pay the full fair value amount. Because keep in mind, I forgot to mention to you guys, some state has caps on how much a bank can sell a foreclosure property for. Meaning they only can sell it for 60% of the fair market value based on the fact that they only was owed $50,000 or $60,000. That's kind of mitigating the capitalism just a little bit. Does that make sense? So you look into that. All right. So closing the deal with phase 1 and phase 3, you get to inspect, you get a little shooby-dooby title insurance. Things work out a little bit different. But phase 1, you definitely not paying as much as phase 3. Now, the auction phase, the closing is immediate within days. Typically requires a full payment. You often receive the trustee deed from the sheriff's cell. Bing, bam, boom, bada, boom, it's done. It's done. But it's done so fast, you better make sure that you did your due diligence, okay? Because it's yours. It's as is. Post-auction consideration, as we start to wrap up this broadcast, thank you for being here. We have a few more to share with you. Legal representation is key. Just because I'm a smarty pants, you're a smarty pants, we know how to look up law, we know how to do that. Make sure you have a Johnny Lawyer on the side or Robert Steele on the side. Or, you know what I'm saying? That's going to make sure that you're good or help guide you to some things that you can do without having to pay a full price. You can do a conventional transfer of title in Georgia if you are a tax lien investment without a lawyer. You don't need one. But do you see what I'm saying? You may need someone who can actually educate you on that, and that can be a lawyer. Or me. Let's move forward. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a legal researcher. Moving forward, anything that I teach or show you is something that I have done. That's it. Now, moving forward, eviction process. This is something that you, post considerations that you want to consider. Legal representation is very important. The eviction process may be something you need to consider. If the property is occupied, you may need to initiate an eviction proceedings, which can be timely and a little bit costly. And you want to know what type of occupant there's in, because there's an elderly person, there may be stipulations to that, or disabled person. Renovations and repairs, that's something that we want you to keep in mind, very important. Plan to execute renovations immediately, effectively, to minimize property loss of value, as well as safety issues or whatever. Okay, you want to get it done, and then you don't want to sit on that money and you start spending it on other stuff. Okay, you stop some things happen, but we don't want to do that. We want to have self-control. Another post-auction consideration, the renovations, the exit strategy. What are we doing? Renovations, execute your repair plan effectively within the budget. Decide how you will profit. This is what we thought about at the beginning, but if you had to change your plan around because some things happen, maybe you want to keep the property. Maybe you just want to rent it because you're like, hey, we got college students around the corner, I renovated, how much they pay a semester? Does that make sense? So diversify your exit strategies depending on the situation. Flip for profit, sell a renovated home quickly, rent the property, hold the property for rentals, own and occupy, move into the home yourself if that's what you want to do. But I don't recommend that for your first investment. I mean, as far as if you need your first home, but it isn't like, okay, your first home is not an investment. That's why I said your first investment is actually the one that's going to return some money for you. So my best thing is don't move into there. But if you have a two-family and you're making that your first investment, then that's an investment. Does that make sense? Because you can live there and still rent. Kind of break even, possibly loosening up some money so you can buy more properties. Now, the next thing we're going to get into is key risks and challenges. Hidden damage is key. Properties are often sold as is. I'm going to keep stressing it. Look at these properties as much as you can. Is somewhere in the title. I have to verify. I definitely know in homeowners insurance, no, and can find public information. This is what you do, guys. Some places require the home to get registered to repair, okay? And that's public information. So you can basically ask for information related to the property of any repairs that was done, certificate of repair, so you can kind of like, oh, the roof was done then. Oh, this was done, yeah, garage was put on. Does that make sense? If they have those requirements, that's an avenue where you can find out where the updates came from. Does that, I look everywhere. Where there's a way, there's a way you can find the information. So you can look for hidden damages that way. You want to look for unclear titles, especially at auctions. You can inherit a significant debt and legal complications, or you can owe the IRS. So that's why we teach you how to do a title search. Occupancy issues, you want to look at the home. Competition at the auction. So popular foreclosure homes can attract multiple savvy investors. Be ready, because that would drive up the price. And don't get caught up in your emotions, because they probably have buttloads of money, or they're with some organization. So just be mindful. Market fluctuation. Again, you can buy a property today and then the market goes down and you spent too much. So let's just keep that in mind. Real estate markets can shift, impacting your projected ARV and profit margins. So just keep that in mind. I know things look a little weird now, so you never know what's going to happen with our real estate market. So hopefully it deflates just a little bit, but not too much, so we can get people into the market, our young people who want to go the conventional way. Lastly, time and effort. Finding, researching it, and managing foreclosure properties is time consuming and demanding. So if you're going to do it, get in it to win it. Don't think that it's just an overnight thing. Also, if you're going to do it as a business owner, then you have to learn about taxes, filing taxes, how you're going to do your write-offs, what write-off. It's a world of fun, but it also builds a legacy, and as we doing, establishing generational wealth through tangible items that don't fluctuate in the market as much. And you know me, if you don't know, that's gold in property, okay? God's gold in God's land. That's what I love, okay? That's the most stable thing in the market. Time has showed it. So common pitfalls to avoid: emotional bidding, ignoring high costs. I can do that. I can get someone to fix that roof, and then all of a sudden you know that it was going to cost more than what you originally thought. So don't do it to yourself. Be realistic of the fact is all potential costs, including repairs, closing costs, holding costs. How much is going to keep you to hold this? I got to pay insurance. I got to pay taxes every year. I got to get a gate. What is it going to take me to hold this property? Overestimating the market value because you didn't do your correct market evaluation, looking at comps. You're like, okay, this house was sold for $350,000. That's how much it is. No, we looked on Zillow, but now we got to look at the comparables, the damage of the property, how much it'll be devalued from there. Was it upgraded? What type of utilities does it use? Those play a part on the valuation of your property compared to the comparables. Neglecting your due diligence. One of the biggest pitfalls. If you didn't learn anything in this whole hour and 9 minutes, is research. That was a dance. Research. Okay. Neglecting to do your due diligence, skipping essential research can expose you to significant risks. Do your homework. Inspect when possible, as much as you can. Have the cash ready. Build a solid team of connections, people you can ask questions. We're not Johnny know-it-all. We probably know how to do some things, but we love our specialists. Calculate all costs. Just think of the woulda, shoulda, couldas. You want to be safe. Don't get emotional because you already thought about the coulda, woulda, shoulda. You already went through that in your head, so you shouldn't be getting emotional now. Understanding your exit strategies and sticking to it. And if you can't stick to it because you have to switch it up a little bit because of the situation, make it make sense. Does that make sense? So I hope you guys learned a lot today. We shared a lot. I don't want to just overwhelm you. I do want to close off by letting you guys know that I'm down here in Fulton County live every third Wednesday of the month now, where we host our economics seminar close off, which is a 2-hour seminar. We teach you how to make a lucrative, successful business plan that secures a loan. I have done it. When you have an amazing plan, detailed, and you know how to secure assets in that process and make sure your finances is good, it helps you. So we have that once a month, the third Wednesday. Please go to the playlist. Anyone who's attending that in person, we ask you to look at the playlist. We have about 12 consecutive videos of an hour that teach you key information you need to know before we get to constructing that business plan. Because we need to revamp your mind, okay? We really talk about what's the difference between assets versus liability. Because sometimes me and you can be our own liability. And it starts with our mindset. So join us next month. We'll be here again, giving you more detail about foreclosure information, or I'm kind of making that face because next month I may switch it up and we may go into how to invest in deeds, the key information you need to know to invest in deeds. So if you like what I have to offer, hit the like button. I appreciate you guys and see you next month.